Regard to the prism in ray optics, you just draw a prism like this ABC, where A is the angle of the prism. Any equilateral glass prism will have A always 60 degree. This is the prism in which there is an incident ray. At the point of incidence, you have to draw a normal. It's going to bend from rarer into denser medium, so it's going to bend towards a normal. And at the point of incidence, again, you need to draw a normal. And it's coming from denser to rarer, so it's going to bend away from the normal. So if there was no prism, the incident ray would have gone like this, and the emergent ray would have come out like this. And the directions of the incident ray and the emergent ray, the angle between them is what is called deviation delta. The angle of incidence is this incident ray makes with a normal. Angle of refraction is this R1, and there's another R2, and this is an emergent ray. So from this cross, I used to do a red color cross mark in the class. If you remember, the vertically opposite angle. Therefore, this will be I minus R1, and this will be again E minus R2 based on that. Taking this triangle, this will be E minus R2. So then, therefore, you have to locate the triangles, the red color triangle from which delta is equal to R1. Okay, delta is equal to there is an I minus R1 plus E minus R2. An exterior angle is equal to I minus R1 plus E minus R2 interior opposite angle. So delta is equal to I plus E minus of R1 plus R2, considering this triangle, red color triangle. You can name it in the exam. Similarly, considering this triangle, this point you can name it as O, and let's call it as O plus R1 plus R2 is equal to 180. Therefore, R1 plus R2 is equal to 180 minus angle O. And taking this quadrilateral, the quadrilateral that I'm going to do here is this quadrilateral in which this is already 90 degree because the angle that the normal makes. So then I'm doing undo that and then right. Taking the quadrilateral, you get 90 plus angle A plus 90 plus angle O is equal to 360. So angle A plus angle O is equal to 180, and thus you get angle A to be 180 minus angle O. And comparing, this is first equation, second equation, third equation. Comparing the second and third, you get angle A is equal to R1 plus R2 is your first conclusion. And substituting this A here in R1 plus R2, you get delta is equal to I plus E minus A. And these are the very, very important formulas which you have to use in normal sums and just general sums of prism. R1 plus R2, A is equal to R1 plus R2, and delta is equal to I plus E minus A. You should memorize these two formulas. Then here comes the condition for minimum deviation. This is the deviation and I, graph between deviation and I. It is coming to a minimum and going like this, which shows that for some angle of incidence, there is a minimum deviation delta m when I is equal to E and R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. This is a condition for minimum deviation. So then thus, I is equal to E. So delta m, you have to write minimum deviation is equal to 2I minus A. So I therefore is delta m plus A by 2. Similarly, R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. So angle A is equal to 2R and R is equal to A by 2. This is considering minimum deviation. Okay, whenever there's a minimum deviation question is there, then you can use this, and mu is equal to sine I by sine R. Because we're considering only this phase where it's entering from rarer to denser, so sine I by sine R mu is equal to. For me, mu is always 2 with respect to 1, which is mu 2 by mu 1. Okay, forget about it. What is sine I? Sine I is sine of A plus delta m by 2 substituted from here, and sine R is sine A by 2 substituted from here. So thus you get a refractive index formula, sine of A plus delta m by 2 by sine A by 2, which is very, very important formula. Supposing the angles are small, you can ignore the sign and you can write refractive index as A plus delta m by 2 by A by 2 when 2 and 2 get cancelled. Cross multiplying mu A is equal to A plus delta m. So mu A is equal to A plus delta m, A into mu minus 1 is equal to A into mu minus 1 is equal to delta m. Thus, you get a new formula for minimum deviation is angle of the prism into refractive index minus 1. And for violet light, it can become A into mu violet minus 1. For red light, the deviation will become A into mu red minus 1. You may ask me, what is this refractive index of glass? We just say is 1.5. Refractive index of water, we just say is 1.33. Why is that for different color, the refractive index is changing? I've explained that refractive index is inversely proportional to wavelength. So depending on each color, the first video you would have learned it. So then depending on each color, the refractive index will change. And so we can write delta V minus delta R, where when white light is getting scattered through a prism and it comes out as VIBGYOR. It comes out as VibGR like that, with everything bent, but violet being bent to largest angle, red bending to a smallest angle only. Why? Because red has got a longest wavelength, so it's able to reach the outer surface quickly. So delta V minus delta R is the deviation between the violet light and the red light, which is the violet the bottom and the red light at the top, the deviation between them. So then therefore it will be subtraction of 1 minus 2, which is A into mu violet minus mu red. So then once you do that, then this is about this is called angular scattering. Angular scattering is the angle between the violet light and red light, the deviation of it, delta V minus delta R. Then is dispersive power. Supposing they ask you dispersive power, the definition is angular scattering angle or whatever by mean deviation. Mean deviation is for L, we can take it as deviation for LO. From this formula is A into mu LO minus 1 is the deviation for yellow color. Okay, or we can ignore the yellow and say it's mean average. Okay, so we can generally say A into mu average minus 1 is equal to delta average. So then therefore angular scattering is A into mu violet minus mu red by the mean deviation is A into mu minus 1. Though we all know mu stands for yellow or green, which is in the middle, but you can always say it's average. So this is the formula for dispersive power, mu violet minus mu red by refractive index, the general mu minus 1. So that is about the theory part. Okay, so then next is the numericals. I'll just do some numericals for you here. I did certain tough sums which were like first sum that I want to teach you here is the toughest sum that I taught you is example 99. Example 99, in which there is a prism here. Okay, and the prism is ABC. There's an incident ray which they've given makes an angle 60 degree with a normal angle of incidence they've given to be 60 degree. Okay, and they've given angle of the prism is 30 degree. Okay, a ray of light PQ. Oh, they've given this to be PQ. A ray of light PQ is incident on the angle at an angle 60 degree on the face AB of the prism of prism's angle 30 degree. The ray emerging out of the prism makes an angle of 30 degree with the incident ray. The ray which is emerging out, it will finally emerge out. That is going to emerge out making an angle 30 degree with the incident ray. So which means the angle between the emergent ray and the direction of the incident ray is 30 degree. Okay, so then that is nothing but, isn't nothing but delta? Isn't it nothing but delta? We know delta itself is 30 degree. The angle between the direction of the incident ray and the emergent ray is nothing but delta. So delta has been given to be 30 degree. Show that the emergent ray is perpendicular to the face BC. Oh, okay. All that we know is the angle between the incident ray and the emergent ray, which is deviation, is 30 degree. We have to show that the emergent ray is actually normal to the BC. The emergent ray is going to come out normal to the BC, which means, okay, we can draw like this. Okay, this is definitely going to bend towards the normal. It's going to bend towards the normal, but let it go like that. Because any ray which is going along the normal only will come out also along normal. This has to be 90, this has to be 90, right? So One second, hold on. Just memorize the sum. This question is about the direction of the incident ray and the direction of the emergent ray. The angle between them is 30 degree, which means delta is 30. Okay, so once you know delta is 30, show that the emergent ray is perpendicular to BC. So whole proof is to prove that the emergent ray is perpendicular to BC, which means the ray which is falling on BC should also go along the normal for it to go undeviated. Therefore, this is to prove. And what are the proofs? You know that therefore R2 is equal to 0. Then R2 is equal to 0, E is equal to 0. This means R2 is equal to 0 and E is equal to 0. So you know that if this is 90 degree, this is the 90 degree. You know that R1 plus R2 is equal to A, which is 30 degree. And to prove that R2 is equal to 0, we have to prove that R2 is equal to 0. But we know delta. And you know delta's formula is I plus E minus A. Have they given minimum deviation here? Have they given minimum deviation, the word minimum deviation in the question? A ray of light PQ is incident at an angle 60 degree on the face AB of the prism of an angle 30 degree. The ray emerging out of the prism makes an angle 30 degree with the incident ray. Show that the emergent ray is perpendicular to the face BC. Okay, so there's no word called minimum deviation. So I have to use this formula. R1 plus R2 is equal to A and delta is equal to I plus E minus A. Delta itself is given to be 30 degree. Plus I plus E, I is given to be 60 degree. Plus E is not given. Angle of the prism is given to be 30 degree. Okay, so then 30 goes this side, 60 and 60 get cancelled. Thus E is proved to be 0. We have proved E to be 0. You want R2 to be 0. If E is 0, automatically R2 will be 0. It's if the angle of refraction 0, the angle of incidence should be 0 in this phase. Therefore, you understand that R2 is also 0. And since E is 0, R2 is 0, and that shows that the ray would come out only normally. So using delta is equal to I plus E minus A, I substituted I as 60, kept E as E, and angle of the prism is A. Delta is 30. So then just 60 get cancelled, E becomes 0. E becomes 0, automatically R2 becomes 0. Because in this phase, the angle at which it's falling is the angle at which it's going out, the second phase BC. So if R2 is 0, E has got to be 0, and that's exactly what you need to prove, and we have proved it in 1 minute. Okay, this is the easiest way to do this. So let's go to the next question. The next part of the question is calculate the refractive index. They've asked for to finding the refractive index. Let's take this phase alone. You know that R2 is 0. Therefore, R1 is 30. And you know I is equal to 60. Using this first phase, you can write sin I by sin R. So sin 60 by sin 30. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2. Sin 30 is 1 by 2. So answer is root 3. Therefore, refractive index itself is root 3. One of the most beautiful sums. Let's go to next sum is example 100, where a composite prism ABC is made up of two identical right angle prism. ABD is one right angle prism and ADC is another right angle prism made up of different material. One has got refractive index root 3, another has got refractive index unknown mu. A ray of light is falling on the face AB, making an angle 60 degree as shown in the figure. So there's a normal and makes an angle 60 degree with a normal. Okay, now you know this refractive index. So you can find out what will be the angle with which this is going to get deviated here. But let's find that out. Mu is equal to sin I by sin R, where you know mu itself is root 3 for this phase. Sin I is sin 60 by sin R. So then what is sin R? Therefore it's sin 60 by root 3. What is sin 60 is root 3 by 2 by root 3. So root 3 will get cancelled. So 1 by 2, sin R is 1 by 2 shows that sin R is 1 by 2 shows that where will sin 30 degree? R will be 30 degree. So you know that there is a normal at this point of incidence. The normal at this point of incidence, and this ray is going to bend in such a way that this angle is 30 degree. 30 degree. And this whole thing is 90 degree. I'm going to draw it in red color. This whole thing is 90 degree. So 90 minus 30, therefore this small angle becomes 60 degree. This angle in here is going to become 60 degree. And you know that if this is 60 and this is an equilateral glass prism, so this would have been 60. So half of this would have been 30. A 30 degree and a 60 degree will make this 90 degree. So it's going to fall along the normal to the face AD. The ray is falling along the normal. If it's falling along the normal, it will go along the normal only and it will fall into this phase. Now in this phase, what's happening is the final ray is emerging along AC. The ray which goes and hits here is going to emerge, graze through the surface AC. If it has to graze through the surface AC, draw a normal in this space, and this angle has to be critical angle. And you know the relationship between critical angle and mu. Okay, but look at this. This is again 30 degree. This is again 90 degrees. So therefore, this is 60 degree, and therefore critical angle here will be 30 degree. And you know mu is equal to sine inverse of, no, IC is equal to sine inverse of 1 by mu. And the critical angle is already, you know, 30 is equal to sine inverse of 1 by mu. So sine 30 is equal to 1 by mu. Sine 30 is nothing but 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by mu. Thus the unknown refractive index is 2. Such a beautiful sum that we came across the other day. So that has been recorded. So let's go to next question. The next question is about an equilateral, no, example 101. An equilateral glass prism has a diffractive index 1.6 in air. Now, calculate the angle of minimum deviation. Oh, the word minimum deviation has been given. Okay, of the prism when it is kept in a medium. Now we are going to keep it in the medium of refractive index 4 root 2 by 5, which means this must be a rarer medium. This must be a denser medium. Otherwise, total internal reflection will occur. You can calculate, we did calculate 4 root 2 by 5. I think we got it as some 1.1 or something. I don't remember, but it's definitely lesser than the refractive index of glass, which was an equilateral glass prism, refractive index 1.6. The refractive index in general of this was 1.6. It is now placed in a medium which has got refractive index 4 root 2 by 5. Still considering it as coming from rarer to denser, because this was, I think, 1.1. So it makes sense. But don't convert it as decimal, keep it like that. Now, calculate the angle of minimum deviation of the prism when kept in refractive. Minimum deviation. When they say minimum deviation, you know the deviation formula is I plus E minus A will become 2I minus A, the minimum deviation. And there is 2R is equal to A and R is equal to A by 2. This is a condition for minimum deviation. Since it's given equilateral glass prism, you know that R is definitely 60 by 2. Therefore, definitely it's 30 degree. So thus you found R to be 30 degree. Okay, and here the, okay, you know R to be 30 degree. What else you have to say? If R is equal to 30 degree, so here the light ray which is coming in is going to enter from this medium into this medium. So when we write mu, its mu is always refractive index of the denser medium, which is 1.6, to rarer medium, which is 4 root 2 by 5, which should be equal to sin I by sin R. It should be equal to sin I by sin R. And considering the angles are small, okay. I can't consider angles so small because this is a huge angle. 60 degree is a huge angle. And you know sine of delta m plus a by 2 by a sine of a by 2. And thus you get mu of 1.6, 4 root 2 by 5. Can I write 1.6 as 16 by 10? Therefore, can I write it as 8 by 5? So can I write 1.6 as 8 by 5? Okay, so then when you have this, this will be refractive index 8 by 5 by 4 root 2 by 5. Mu 2 by mu 1. If it's mu of 2 with respect to 1, it's mu 2 by mu 1. So 5 and 5 get cancelled, 4 and 8 get cancelled, 2 by root 2 is nothing but root 2. Okay, thus you will get sine of delta m which was given already. Sine of what was delta m? Delta m was minimum deviation. Had they given? Calculate the angle of minimum deviation. That's the question. So you don't know delta m, but you know angle of the prism is 60 by 2 sine of delta m plus a by 2, not the total by, just for the angle there's a by sine a by 2 is 60 by 2, so 30 degree. So you know what is sine 30? Sine 30 is 1 by 2. So when you cross multiply, it become root 2 by 2. So it's 1 by root 2 is sine of delta m plus 60 by 2. And sine inverse of 1 by root 2, when you take it that side, will be pi by 4 is equal to delta m plus 60 by 2, or a 45 degree is equal to delta m plus 60 by 2, or 90 degree is equal to delta m plus 60, and delta m therefore is 30 degree. This is what strikes me. Okay, any other method strikes you, you can go ahead and do it. But this is what strikes me when they ask you minimum deviation. The angles are larger, so then therefore I have to stick to this. Is what I thought. Okay, so let's go to next question. So thus you found the minimum deviation. Example 102, in which hope it's recording. Yeah. So that one face of the prism of refractive index 30 degree. Sorry, angle 30 degree. Sorry, refractive index is 1.414. Is silvered. This face is going to be full silvered. Okay, A, B, C. So it's going to act like a mirror. So an incident ray which is falling like this, if it has to fall, there has to be a normal here as usual. It has to fall normally on the mirror for it to be able to retrace its path. At what angle must the ray of light fall on the unsilvered surface? This angle I is the question. So that the after refraction, it undergoes reflection at the silvered surface and it retraces its path, for which this has to be falling normally. Which means you know that the R2 is equal to 90. You know this is 90. R2 is equal to 90 and R1 plus R2 is equal to 30. Shit. I'm pressing something somewhere. Okay, I will continue.